Make sure that we are on. All the microphones are green. Boom. All right, there we go. All right, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and begin this morning. Thank you all so much for coming to the 22nd Annual Economic Empowerment Summit weekend brought to us by the Black Expo. Let's give it up for the Black Expo for all they're doing across the community. And you know, it's all about bringing awareness to the African American population about how we can better ourselves financially, mentally, spiritually. It encompasses so many things. And we know that economics plays a major factor when it comes to how we live our life, quite frankly. Many times people think that if you live in a certain area, you'll notice and you'll see how difficult it is to be able to grow, to have your kids when you're living in an impoverished mindset. So we have a great panel here that is going to talk to us a little bit about how we can secure our finances and also to talk about addressing the wealth gap. It's very important. And we want also to notice how these are local individuals right here from Columbia, South Carolina, which is really important. So everybody, my name is Freddie Clairvaux, and I'm with Watch Fox News. You can watch us Monday through Friday from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. with the Midland's only 4-hour morning show. And we are happy to be here for the Black Expo. So let's begin. We're going to have the panelists introduce themselves, and we're going to start off right here to my left.
Good morning. My name is Kadena Jagus. I'm the president and CFO at Jagus Financial Services. We are different from the most tax offices that close April 15th. We are open year-round to serve the community, and this is our 21st year open.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Twix or Snickers?
Twix.
Yeah. Okay.
Good morning. I'm Cody Presley, the Chief Operating Officer of Burge and Presley Realty. It's the largest independent-owned real estate company in the state of South Carolina.
Cody, cornflakes or Cookie Crunch?
I guess cornflakes.
Cornflakes.
Good morning. I'm Karen Jenkins. I'm the owner of KRJ Consulting. We're a workforce development firm primarily in the federal space. Prior to that, when we first started, we started out as a financial consultancy where we actually educate people on empowering themselves to protect themselves financially. What's your question?
Kit Kat or Twix?
Kit Kat.
All right. Okay then.
My name is Darryl Boyles, personal finance coach, founder of Bridge the Gap. What I do is I help get people out of financial struggle, help them break that paycheck to paycheck cycle.
Oh, that's good. All right. So, Fruit Loops or Cat Crunch? Fruit Loops. Okay. There we go. Fruit Loops. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Hassan Garcia. I'm a financial advisor with Consolidated Plan out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm based here in Columbia, South Carolina. Been in the industry for about 13 years now. And I think this is my real passion. I'm talking about the original growth.
Skittles or Starburst?
Oh, still.
Yeah. The purple one?
Yeah, tropical.
Yeah. Or the okay. We're good.
This is wild.
Yeah.
My name is Shavar Shakisky Ball. I'm a filmmaker, film producer, and film educator, founder of OTR Media Group here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Cornflakes or Cat Crunch?
Cornflakes.
You put sugar in?
Yeah, of course.
You are? Yeah. How many people I remember growing up, I used to always do that, and my mom would get behind us like, no, diabetes. I'm like, okay, mom. All right, so we just wanted to introduce the panel to you all, and we just wanted to really open up, have a little icebreaker so you all can see that they are just like me and you, individuals who are trying to better themselves and with the family. So our focus is about addressing the wealth gap. So one of the first questions that we want to ask, when is it too late to start talking about finances? When does it get to the point if we have kids that you're like, uh-oh, this is too late. You should have already known about money.
Well, my personal opinion, and reading some studies and articles from the American Financial Banker, we should be having that conversation at about the age of 6. So I got one that's 20, and so now it's too late. And I've noticed that my younger children, because my role has changed in my career, that they are more savvy with saving than my oldest one.
That's good. Okay.
I'm going to say it's never too late. What I didn't share with you is I wrote a book called Nobody Told Me the Path to Financial Empowerment, and I wrote that book after working as a housing counselor to help people fight foreclosure in 2008. I wrote it because I sat across the table with people that were facing foreclosure, and 65% of them didn't have to be there. Those people needed to be educated so that they could get out of the trouble and then figure out how to make sure they didn't get in trouble again. So that's one spectrum. The other spectrum is, I agree with Kadena, that you start as early as possible, teaching your children about finances, giving them a, what do you call it?
Allowance.
Thank you. That's what I'm like. Giving them an allowance, and then teaching them as part of that allowance to put a portion of it away. To actually budget the allowance and say, this I'll spend, this portion I'll do. So you get started, and practice makes perfect. So that's how you get them started early.
So, as we're speaking about addressing the wealth gap, what is it that you all say within the African American community is missing? Why is it that it seems as if for many African American communities, they are behind? Meaning, at a certain age, this person has this in place, this person has that, but someone might just be 20, 25 years old, and it's now that I'm putting stocks and bonds. It's now that I'm, oh my goodness, I should have had it, maybe a CD. Why is that?
Money and finances is one topic that we just don't talk about when we have a family table dinner. And it should be. And I will say one thing that I think will help offset that. I know 85% of our clients, they don't have a personal budget. You gotta write it down. Now, most of the time they come in and they're in financial constraints. The first question I ask is, do you have a budget? If you are bringing home $2,000, but your bills are $3,000, we have a problem. And we need to write it down. We have a budget that we give them, and then we can find out where we can trim some stuff. Maybe we're doing too much entertainment, eating out, not cooking at home. But that personal budget, I promise you, if you do that budget with your spouse, or even if you're just single, you will see where your money is going. And we gotta see that first.
And that was a great question. If you make sure you ask it one more time so I can make sure I answer every.
Gotcha. Okay, why is it within the African American community it seems as if we're lacking as it relates to the wealth gap? We have other individuals by the time they're a certain age, they're further than some in the African American community. Why is that?
If you talk about disparity in the wealth gap, it has many issues. I think, in order to solve any problem, first you have to define the problem and understand what were some of the roots that led us to where we at. And first of all, don't beat yourself up. Be honest with yourself. We've come a long way as a race. Think about it. My grandparents, my mother was a sharecropper. My grandfather was a sharecropper. My mother picked cotton. So from that place where we didn't have the family wealth to have the conversations about what a trust is or how to structure your finances or how to create generational wealth, and understanding that money is transferred. It's the laws of energy. Nothing is created or destroyed. But understanding that there is an abundance mentality. But we've grown up in an era where there's been forces against us. If you're talking about the Housing Act, that was I think 1965 when they had the Housing Act and fought fair housing for African American communities. And the transfer of wealth in a lot of other communities was through the ownership of homes, building equity in that house and transferring to the next generation. There's been disparities in as far as the incarceration rate. If you eye up the working force, you separate the family, then you don't have the combined income or the knowledge base in that family. If you don't have the will to go out or the vision to see something different, and what you've seen is this what you duplicate, it's tough to make that uphill climb.
We saw some people just walking. We want to welcome you all to the Economic Empowerment Summit. Here we have some individuals addressing the wealth gap, and that's what we're doing right now.
So, my opinion, and I believe we can be here all day trying to pinpoint an issue, one main issue, but I mean, I think there's a million issues that we have within the African American community. Excuse me, with one being lack of exposure. A lot of us grew up in different environments and different communities where we're not exposed to higher levels of education, financial guidance. We don't know that many people with financial freedom. So it's hard to believe that it's possible if you've never seen it. So lack of exposure, being one issue. Our mentality, individual mentality that we have, you gotta want it for yourself. You gotta have the determination and will to begin to build and leave a legacy for our children. Just me personally, in my story, me and my wife, we're 27, and 6 years ago, we were pretty much homeless, and now we're in a totally different situation, but it took us seeking out counseling from other wise people who have finances, who are on that route, on that path, that see further than us, that already experience different things in life, that are doing something positive in the community now. So, because we grew up a single parent, mom making $200-300 a week. So for me, I knew I can achieve something great, but I had to be exposed to people who was making, 6 figures, making $1 million a year. So it took that exposure for me to see that it was possible, and then to learn what can I do to better myself or put my family in that position. So as a community, we got to come together. We got to stop spending our money in other communities. The dollar don't stay in our community long. As soon as we get a paycheck, we go to the hair store, we go get our nails done. We go spend it with all the different races and different cultures, besides keeping it within our community. We got to support each other. We've been preaching that for many years, but we got to actually support each other. When we see one person doing good, we got to get behind that person and push them. And then not be like crowds in the barrel, because crowds don't belong in the barrel. We got to push that person, and we all come up. It can't be, oh, this person looks better than me, they're doing better than me. No, it's a culture, it's a community. So we got to build that community. I mean, it's a million different things we can do. That's just my soapbox and a few of the things I say, but it's a million things.
I would definitely say that we need to identify that there are systems that we're also coming against. For every generation, going back to slavery, there has been some kind of system in place to help keep us from financial gain, even all the way back to the Freedmen's Bank, when they freed the slaves, and then now the slaves have money, and they let the slaves work, build up the money, put it in the Freedmen's Bank. Oh, okay, well now we got to take this money and use it for railroads, or even after that, how when we were drafted to go to the military, and we go back with money, now we still can't buy homes to help build freedom, to help build wealth. So we have to, for every generation there was a system, so we have to identify and destroy the system.
Okay. So if I talk to each and every one of you and I asked you, what did you hear in your home when you were growing up? The terms that were used. Money doesn't grow on trees. What was some other ones? I used to remember them, but I got too much in my head right now. But each of you could come up with something. So our parents taught us from whence they came or from what they knew. And unfortunately, it was always from a place of lack and not a place of abundance. So that's the first mindset. As African Americans, we are not taught the financial piece or the concept of money. We learn it from what we see, either from home or from what we see on television. Then we get caught up in purchasing things that have no value. Other people, other races, they're investing in stocks, bonds, they're buying homes. We're buying rims on a car, we're buying nails, we're buying hair, we're buying whatever. And we also have this immediate gratification thing going on, where we get in excessive debt because we go to Belts and say, oh, you get 10% off if you do this. Well, that 10% is not really 10% off if you don't pay it off once that bill comes in. So now that $25 item that you bought will end up costing you $125 because you're going to pay interest on it month after month after month. So conceptually, we have to understand the rules of the game. We go and we get a game, we do our life like we do with the cell phone. You pull it out, you work it, nobody looked at the manual. Okay? This financial thing has a manual. We pay Monopoly, and we probably got taught the Monopoly rules by somebody we were playing with. We didn't read the manual. And I'll just put it out there. If you want to keep something from us, where do you put it? and a book. So now we have videos, we have audios that people can listen to if they don't like to read. But knowledge is power when you apply it. So we have to get, one, an abundance mindset. Two, we have to teach our culture the rules of the game. The rules are applied the same way by everybody, and once applied, they work. Yeah, we'll have some obstacles, we'll have some things because of what we have to deal with as African Americans, but at the end of the day, the basic rules are there, and we can't use football rules and play basketball, and that's what we've been doing.
One of the things too, we talked about the systems, and it seems like that's what is kind of like the central issue, because many people feel as if there's a wall up against. What do you all think is the system right now that's stopping some people in the African American community to get wealth?
I'm gonna start and I'm leaving on. Those without knowledge will be taken advantage of. And it's designed for us not to have knowledge. We get our knowledge from television, from radio, from video, and it's giving a message that is not necessarily to our advantage, but that's how we live. So if we want to do better, we have to know better. And until we get wise enough to understand the rules of the game, how things are, and what reality actually is, we're not going to be able to improve.
I just want to bring up this one thing. It always makes me feel some type of way when I hear people say, and I appreciate the question, but it always makes me feel some type of way when people say, what's happening now? I think one of the things that you have to understand, especially when it comes to the African American in this country, it's now is a compounded equation, right? So what we're dealing with now is what is on top of what we dealt with generation before me. So it's like, it's worse now, right? Like you have to, I think that we have to be careful when we say, okay, well, that was back then, what about now? No. If you're 22, you're dealing with the issues from the 42-year-old generation, the 62-year-old generation, your great-grandma, you're still dealing with those issues, right? So we have to look at it as, it's worse now because those problems are more complex, right? So it's not just, for instance, that first generation of us, my great-grandparents that were enslaved, that first generation, they had their own set of issues to deal with. But if they didn't have financial literacy, then they could pass that to their kids. So now, not only are they dealing with the generation before that was enslaved in that mindset, they're dealing with the generation of desegregation, right? So you got desegregation on top of no financial literacy. My parents' generation didn't pass down financial literacy to me. So now I'm the generation that did have white friends and was integrated, but I'm living it. I'm going to schools that aren't getting the same things. I'm getting access to different things than my white counterparts are. So I'm dealing with all three of those compounded things. And so I think that what Karen is trying to say is we're kind of like in a crisis now when it comes to information. And that's really the key, is it's more like it should be like a national emergency when you're talking about the financial situation for African Americans. And I think that's what Karen is trying to say when she was talking about knowledge, because you take all those things and put them together, and that's what you're seeing, and so the next generation has it even worse. So we have to find ways now to unpack that, right? And so I think we should be careful.
So I appreciate what you're saying, and you're right. History repeats itself and we don't learn from it. But here's the difference. Our ancestors were in bondage, either in the shackles of slavery or Jim Crow or racism, whatever. But the difference between them and us is we have keys to our shackles. We just have to find those keys and we have to use those keys. See, there's nobody preventing us from getting the knowledge that we need to know other than ourselves. The knowledge is out there. But here's what happens. Society wants us distracted to look at the little crazy things, the housewives and all those food market TV, looking at news every day.
Ratchet TV.
To keep us distracted. Because if we're distracted looking at TV all day long, we're not living our life, right? Yeah. I promise you, there are 10 or 12 people over here acting like little crazy people, running around getting theirs, reading, getting what they need to do, understanding what they need to make their money. They're on their grind. But we're sitting here in the TV all day. or we're on Facebook all day, or we're looking at something else, trying to figure out how we will live somebody else's life. So we're still in bondage from our distractions. And all we have to do is understand we have the key to break that bondage by going and getting that information, getting that knowledge, and applying that knowledge. And then we can go back and teach our ancestors or the people that we still have in our family that may be older than us. And then prepare our young people as they come along as well.
What's the right way for us to get that information to our people? What do we do now? How do we get that information so that no one can have an excuse and say, I didn't know?
Well,
I'll say this real quick, I'm all excited now. I want you, because you're in media, okay? We need to change our media. I want you to put positive message out. I don't need to see, twerking and all that other stuff on TV. Let's put some good beat music, because that's what gets me, good beat music, right? With a nice message, something education. Y'all remember Schoolhouse Rock? Y'all remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I can still say that song. But for our youth, using the media, because that's how they're keeping us dumbed down now anyway. But we don't have, with the exception of you, we don't have those people in place.
I just want to respond to that since you said that. And I don't think you're wrong. I think media, and I'm absolutely in media, plays a different role, right? But I think what we have to understand is even if I offer you a drink, it doesn't mean that you're going to drink it. True. So it doesn't matter if we have a KRS One, or we have a J. Cole, or we have positive TV shows. All that stuff exists. It doesn't matter if we offer it, right? Because that is happening right now. So then you have to ask, well, if it's available, then why aren't people taking it? Why aren't they partaking? And that's the part that I'm talking about that comes in when you're thinking about African Americans and it's compounded, because now you're dealing with a mental issue, right? Because we all know people that we know in our own lives, and we ask ourselves, why do they live like that? Why do they even think like that? Why is it that my cousin won't get a job, but she knows she got 6 kids? I don't know why she's so crazy. Like, you do that all the time.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
You know what? If you offer her a key or offer her a TV show or music, you know what she's gonna do? Not take heed to it, because those people are just like us. Everybody on this stage got something in their life that they've been dealing with, that sooner or later you finally had an epiphany and you start looking at things differently. I know that I have. And so, so financial literacy is tied to what we're dealing with mentally as people. So there's a lot of mental unpacking that we have to do before we can even get to seeing the key. And so I think, just to wrap this up, that when you're talking about starting, that it has to start small with families, neighborhoods, and small communities. Because what we have to start doing with the information that we have is start putting that knowledge to action, so the people in our small circles can start to see it for themselves. And the more we do that, the more we can grow that from the inside. I think these large swaths of how can we just all just rise up together is impossible. And it's not even a measurable or manageable way to think. So what is manageable is to start small.
I want to get something again.
The brief answer to your question, what system is holding us back, is ourselves. It's our mentality. It has to be a mentality shift. Because there's always an excuse, but never a reason. There's always an excuse why we could not accomplish something. There's no reason why we can't. Because if we think about what's been accomplished before us, Martin Luther King was Dr. Martin Luther King. Think about the problems he had to accomplish what he did, become a doctor during that time. Education was still available, and it's available now, it's more available now. If we talk about the music we listen to, when we listen to it through different ears and in a mindset, a mind-shifting or altering perspective. When I listen to Jay-Z, I like Jay-Z because I like the maturity of Jay-Z, and I see the transformation in his music. And people don't hear the line, he said, I'm trying to give you $1 million worth of game for $9.99.
That song wasn't even on the radio.
Thank you. That song wasn't even on the radio. You don't hear the song when he has his daughter in there talking about legacy. She said, what's a will? These are all instruments to transfer wealth. So people are putting these things out there for you. And when somebody else listens to J. Cole, they don't hear the song when he's talking about taxes. When he's talking about he got his first $1 million check, and he got on the phone, he said, oh, it's my uncle calling. I called, I'll call you in a second. My uncle, I told you, I got you. As soon as I got my check, it's here, I got you, I'm holding you down. How much you say I owe you? Half. When he was talking about Uncle Sam. He ain't got $1 million, but he owe half that to Uncle Sam. Now, a lot of us don't take the keys that are out there. I love YouTube, I love social media, all these things. Why? Because when I'm in my car, I'm listening to a podcast, something educational most of the time. If I'm in my car, I'm on YouTube too, or I might be listening to something about private funding or different type of educational tools that are available. So the fact that we aren't as far as we should be is all because of mindset. We need to see things differently through a different lens and different perspective. And yes, that's easier said than done because there are some barriers in front of us, but nothing can stop you when you make your mind up to do something, period.
Just to piggyback, when he's talking about the compounded problems, my brother in. So I don't feel like there's an excuse for us, honestly, because when you look at the Hispanics, look at what they're faced with right now. How is it that they're coming in, they're taking over the construction industry? I mean, they're taking over the brick masonry, they're brick masonries now, they're building, they're doing everything with their hands that we were doing, that we started. So they're facing an issue where, they're trying to fight for their right to come into this country, but they're still overcoming that issue. So we don't have an excuse. Now, of course, the reality is we were slaves. We faced that. But that's not an excuse. We can't keep saying that 10 generations from now where we were slaves. Well, look at the Hispanics. Look at the Koreans. They come over, they own all the nail salons. They own all the the beauty products stores. That's how is they can come from a totally different country, come here and set up those business, capitalize on us. So we do the same thing. I mean, that's my first point. My second thing, we talk about the media, the entertainers. We all know in this room that African Americans, the only position they give us, they let us be athletes, they let us be rappers, they let us be anything that degrade our people and keep us at a low level. Now, I agree, Jay-Z is good. He spit knowledge, and I listen to Jay-Z too. I agree with that. However, most of these young rappers, the ones coming up, all they want to do is sag their pants. They want to degrade our females. They want to do twerk challenges and pay women. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's degrading. We're doing that to ourselves because we won't turn and we won't say, "God, I'm not taking this record deal. I don't need the money that bad. I'm not going to compromise my people and myself just to get here and look like a star and be glorified by my own people." We glorify the rappers. We let them come into town, do concerts, let the township get shot up or whatever. We let them do it to our own people. We let them do it. The Mexicans now, they over here working. We over here partying.
I get you. Go ahead.
I agree with everything everyone said, but I also think that they are actual systems in place to keep us in bondage. When you look at the mortgage crisis, you had African American people with better credit scores than other races were getting superior projects or products. Their loans were higher, they had a higher interest rate, even though they had better credit score. You have black homeowners with getting appraised at a lower rate just because they're in a black community. You have black people with degrees getting paid lower than other counterparts with no degrees. So I do think that there are systems in place, but I also agree with the point that we can overcome those systems if we are strategic about it.
I just wanted to add too, as great dialogue, and as you were saying, our mentality has to change. We got to change as well. And another thing that keeps us in bondage: student loans. We wanted to go to school, they opened it up, we going to school, we getting degrees, we PhDs and doctors, but the cost that it was coming at. Me as an accountant and tax advisor, I have other coaches that I take care of. If they have two children graduating this year and going to college and they're not getting scholarships,
they reach out to the aunts, the uncles, they divide that bill
Wow.
so that that child doesn't have to get student loans.
They divide the bill.
They divide the bill up with their families so that that child doesn't have a disadvantage. Because when you graduate from, I know Benedict College, my kids are having $60,000, $70,000 in debt. They want to get a state job making $20,000. They want to know, how can I pay $500 a month when they only get paid $1,000 every 2 weeks? And they're trying to buy an apartment. So that's another thing, that when you say systems down, yeah, they're giving us that education at a cost. And we got to do better with our families. That child is born, you got 18 years to save $5 a week. There should not be any student loans, unsubsidized or subsidized, in your name, Parent Plus. We have got to do better.
Yeah, I think she's absolutely right, and I'm gonna piggyback on top of what she said, and on top of what Daryl said. These systems, the first thing we have to recognize is the systems that are in place, and we have to acknowledge that. We have to continue to acknowledge that there are forces that are pushing against you that are systematically that way in every realm: education, financial, housing, you pick one. That's just how this country was designed and built. So then you have to ask yourself, so then what is an African American to do? Which goes back to your point, Cody. And so then you have to ask yourself, well, why is it we can look at the Mexicans? Why is it we can look at white folks? Why is it actually the only minority that doesn't look for success within its own minority in this country is African Americans? So then you have to ask yourself, why? Because we were the only race that were tricked and told that if we integrate and try to be like someone else, then we can be the same in society. No one else followed that trick. Not the Latino, not the Asian, not the Korean. In every city in America, you can go to Chinatown, you can go to Koreatown, you can go to where
You have Jewish, you have little family.
Exactly, right? Except for, why there's no little Africa town? Because we don't even call ourselves Africans, we call ourselves Black Americans. Like, for some reason, we're the only ones that were tricked to believe that what we need to look to is someone else for our success. So what we have to start doing now is reverse engineering integration mentally. And we have to start saying, okay, so how can we start doing what our parents' generations were doing in the 40s and the 50s? Like, my mom would tell me that they never left the neighborhood. The grocery store, the laundromat, even when they bought Christmas toys, was in Ridgewood, all in one neighborhood. So that dollar, that black dollar circulated almost 20, 40 times before it left the black neighborhood, not just 50 years ago. But today, if you look at everybody on this panel, I guarantee you, at least 80% of what we're wearing is owned by somebody that's white. The car that we drove, the gas station we got gas from, the house that we live in, the person that does our taxes, the person that we buy food from, the neighborhood that we live in, right? All owned by somebody white. So then, how you start reverse engineering that is saying we have to purposely start shopping and putting our dollars in each other's hands the same way that Latinos and Mexicans and Koreans and Chinese do it. We got to get off this train of we're Americans. It just wasn't designed that way for us, and everybody else understands that but us.
Speaking about that, talk about money. What's the difference between wealth and money?
Oh, that's for you.
I view wealth as the accumulation of the ability to do something. Wealth isn't just money. Wealth is knowledge. Passing down generational wealth is passing down the knowledge of how to deal with money is wealth. Because I don't care how much I give you, if you don't know how to keep or transfer it, it's not really yours. And you got to realize, like I said, look around and having that abundance mentality is so important. Understanding if you have knowledge, somebody will pay for you to do the things that you need to do. If you put a business plan and it makes sense, somebody will give you dollars if you don't have the dollars. So we got to start thinking about transfer. And when we think about transfer, we got to think about transferring and build a tent bigger than ourselves and transferring 150 years into the future. And we start thinking different. Because we think about our today. And I know it's tough because when you're just trying to pay, the house note, light bills, and things like today, it's hard to think about the future. But we have to plant these seeds so we have oak trees in the future for those that come behind us. Because there's ways to control wealth 150 years. Everybody knows who Andrew Carnegie is. Yeah, he made a lot of money, but his money is still alive today, and his family's spending old money. So why can't we do that with our own self? If we think about things that we spend and what's important and is wealth important, I want you to look at your bank statement and think about the phone bill, the cable bill, the car note, all the things you're going to pay for. And think about the next 40 years you're going to be paying for these things. And think about how much you pay for simple life insurance. You probably pay more to GM than you pay for life insurance. And that's the one that can survive about 150 years. But if you ask the average black family, they have less than $3,000 of life insurance because they say that's blood money, I want that money in the ground. And that's sad. If you don't plant it in the ground, it can't grow. And nobody else can have shade in the future. So something as simple as that, because it's about not slowing the minimum money to grow and compound interest. If you got 150-year-old money and it's reached critical mass, it's hard to stop. So if you keep that money in your family and you continue to grow it, you have an unstoppable force to be reckoned with.
A study that was done, I think it was in 2012, showed that the basic Caucasian male had a net wealth of about $140,000. The female, white female, might have been like $40,000 net wealth. The black female at that time was $5,000 net wealth, and the African American male was a negative number. Wow. Now let me define net wealth as a bank perceives it. If you take all the money that you have coming in, and then you subtract from that all your expenses, including any cash value that you have in your life insurance, any savings that you have, any stocks, any bonds, if you have equity in your car, if you have equity in your home, and then of course the liability side will subtract that. Whatever's left over is your net value. So when you go to a bank, you say, well, the bank will give me a loan, and it's like, okay, so they're going to ask you for your financials, and you can't figure out, well, I made $40,000 a year, I make good money, but if you make $40,000 a year and you're spending $40,000 a year, your net value is zero. And in our case, because of credit cards, we were making $40,000 and we were spending $50,000. You have to take control of your finances. Now, most of our wealth is built in home ownership, because you buy a house and you might buy it for $100,000, you keep it for 7 years. By the time you get ready to sell it, it might have grown in value to maybe $120,000. So that difference of $20,000 is your equity, but then you pay down some money. So that's where a lot of your wealth comes from. When we had the crisis in 2008, because that was where the majority of African Americans placed their money as far as building wealth. When the crash hit, all values went down. So we lost all of our equity, we lost all of our wealth. Whereas the non-African Americans, they had a variety of investments. They had stocks, bonds, whatever. Now guess what? They lost money in the stock market. Y'all remember hearing it on the news. Everybody lost. Right. But that loss is only a journal entry. Because you don't actually lose the money in the stock market until you actually pull it out. So they left it in, it went way down, and then it started creeping back up. So now they've regained their value in their portfolios, and the values of the stock of the homes has now come back. So they're probably either where they were prior to the crisis or above. Those are the type of things that we have to learn. So when we go out to the store to buy that thing that we trying to look good for somebody, I don't know what we're trying to look good for, but those things that we're buying, you can leave that money in your account and increase your net value. Because when you buy those tennis shoes for $200, when you buy that watch, when you buy this, there's no value in that. Absolutely none. And if you have an opportunity to read The Millionaire Next Door, please go buy it. A very old book. It's called Millionaire Next Door. And it talks about the millionaire, okay? Shop at Walmart, wearing khaki pants, driving an American-made sedan. But got plenty of bank, $1 million plus, that they have access to. So that's the definition of wealth.
I'm going to answer that. I'm going to be real quick. The difference between money and wealth is time. Like money is in the present, wealth is in the future. If you add up the 6 Walmart areas, if you add all that money and all that wealth together, they have more wealth combined than the 500 billion Americans. So when we think about money, we're thinking about the present, we're thinking about wealth, we're thinking about the future. another quote that's going around kind of like is, I work for my last name. Like when you hear the name Walton, you think of Walmart, or you hear the name Croc, you think of McDonald's. So the difference between money and wealth is time.
So I'm gonna say two things. I kind of feel like my pastor when he say you're gonna conclude, like, so, but my first thing, piggyback on what you were saying about the millionaire who wears the khakis and disparities. Well, you're right, but most Caucasians, they're gonna have a $50,000 boat sitting outside. They're gonna have a $50,000 truck. So just because they don't spend it the way we spend it, don't mean they're not buying the toys. They just got different toys they like. You know, they got, all of them got fishing boats. We don't buy boats. So we put it in cars, you know, we like cars with rims, we like, you know, or flashy cars, which there's nothing wrong with having things, because I believe we're put here on this earth to enjoy things. But now it's your perception and your perspective towards those things. So for instance, with my cars, I switch cars a lot. But when I buy a car, I'm buying that car with equity. I got a dealer's license. So I go buy a car that's worth $60,000, I get $40,000. So when I'm done with it in a year, I'm gonna sell it for $50,000 and make $10,000. So you see me in a nice car, I'm just buying it because it's nice. I'm buying it because it's gonna produce. So if you got things or toys in your life that you look at it from that perspective, even with my dog, like I told my wife, the dog I brought a bulldog. So when I like it, I love the dog, but also he gonna make me money. If I made it, I'm gonna get my money back. So I gotta get a return on my investment. Anything in my life, I gotta get a return on that investment. So if you got things in your life, there's nothing wrong with having things, but just make sure you get a return back off it. Because in every culture, every group of people, they want to spend money, they got different things. Of course, African Americans, we like material things, and the things we like a little different compared to other cultures, but we still do it. Everybody do it. So we can't say African Americans just splurge, you know, that's just fine, but you gotta be able to get a return back if you're gonna do it. Don't just buy the nice cars, houses, and shoes and all this, you can't get your money back. Be able to get your money back or make money from it. Because the Caucasians doing it too. Even though they dress simple, they ain't wearing, and some of them are wearing designer clothes. But that's just one.
And just to echo what he's saying is, a lot of times we want to get caught in categorizing things as bad or good. Things are in hand. It's a thing. It's a tool for transference. So it's how you use it. It's about first the understanding, secondly, the expectation, and thirdly, the execution. And no matter what it is, if you apply those principles to the things that you have, you can either get value or it can take value from you.
I'm going to go ahead and have our closing remarks starting from Kadena on this side and go forward. Any last minute statements or remarks that you want any of the people who are watching, folks in the audience, to remember when it comes to wealth gap?
Bridging that gap with our generations to come and our children that we're raising now. And it is okay, like Cody said, you should, the Bible said, enjoy the fruits of your labor and be unapologetic when you out here working hard and you choose to purchase nice things, like Cody said. They just do other things. They travel to Italy and all that kind of stuff. I don't like your plane. I don't want to sit down that long. So I don't have to leave Columbia. But anyway, teach our children the three things, spend some, save some, share some. And when I say share some, no, they can't come to you because you're a bank and they want to borrow. Because we don't want our children being borrowers, beggars, and bummed. So you share some, your outreach, your community outreach, your tithes, your offering. And that don't just mean money, that means a good time too.
Closing remarks. So I'm gonna conclude here. So now let's just start somewhere. We'll start from here today. We start as a community. Let's support each other. Let's build. Let's educate ourselves. Let's seek wisdom from the African Americans that are successful, that are doing it, and let's just continue to grow.
What is that thing? People that fail to plan and fail. Let me clarify. You can do anything you want to do. There's absolutely nothing that as an African American person that you can't do, but you have to have a plan. There's absolutely nothing you can't have, you have to have a plan. That plan is your budget. So if you want to go and buy that watch and get those nails and buy those red bottom shoes, make sure that you have your income, all of your expenses are met. And then you have what I call discretionary income at the bottom. Save for it. You don't have to get it today. You might save for it, and maybe it takes 6 months to save. So guess what? I go buy that thing in cash, because debt used the wrong way is just as bad as getting burned by fire.
used in the right way, it'll keep you warm.
Okay. There you go.
My closing remarks would be for everybody to go buy my book, One Paycheck at a Time. And in the book I talk about is basically start where you are with what you have. Same thing Cody just said. No matter your financial situations, you can change it. Whether you got bad credit, you got high debt, you got no savings, you can start where you're at and change where you're going today.
My closing remarks would be, for one, just continue to seek knowledge and understanding. I've been around this industry for over 20 years and having practiced for 13, and I realized how much I didn't know 15 years ago. So don't think you own the rights or the right way to do anything. I wake up every day and try to prove what I already know is wrong, because that's just like a scientific experiment. You don't know what you don't know. So continue to seek education. Continue to look for things that add value or transfer value into the future.
I only got 3 things. They all fall under add value back to your people. Number 1, buy black. Number 2, if you can't buy black, buy in a black neighborhood or people that hire black people. And number 3, champion black people that own businesses. We should be championing Hassan, Daryl, Karen, Cody, I forgot the lady's name, but I know Jay's tax service, because y'all do my homeboy's taxes and his business taxes. Champion those people. That's how we start closing the wealth gap.
We want to thank all our great panelists for coming up. Did Hassan, okay. All right, we want to thank all the panelists. Let's give our panelists a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for coming on this Saturday with us. Of course, once again, for all of y'all that are tuning in, we know there's some people on Facebook Live, Free Thinkers Radio. This is the 72nd Annual Black Expo. We're talking about the Economic Empowerment Weekend. We just had a great panel talking about addressing the wealth gap. So go back and get this information. Also go back to the live video. You can hear exactly what these panelists had to say. Once again, I'm Freddie Clever with Watch Fox News, and thank you so much for being here this afternoon. And we'll see you back here on the live stage. We have April Ryan coming up at 12 o'clock, and later on we also have Hill Harper, who is an actor and an author as well. That'll be about 2 or 3. So make sure you come back and join us. Thank you.
Good job, guys.